Welcome back, y'all. Today we're going to break down Tennessee's choice routes because I've seen a lot of bad information floating around out there, mostly by people who are breaking down film on Tennessee's scheme, current players or new players, and they're basing everything off of a pro-style system. But Tennessee runs a veer and shoot, so it's nothing like a pro-style system. And as you're looking at the 8 goals of this offensive system, you're going to see that most of this stuff is going to be consistent with any of the goals for other offensive systems, outside of a few things. Like if you look at number 4, obviously most offenses aren't going to try to make space with really wide splits and run tempo. And then if you look at number 3, simplify those quarterback reads. This is one of the staples to this offense. So whenever people say that Tennessee's quarterbacks aren't doing a good job of processing and all of that, you're basically calling them dumb dumbs, because this stuff is as simple as just like Coach N said, if you can count to 3, you can play for me. Now, I know the Coach N's coaches linebackers for our defense, but the same thing is true for Tennessee's offense. All right. So y'all please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I'm not going to take you through all of the different choice routes and things like that, just because it's going to get stale. I mean, all this stuff is pretty much the exact same look, and y'all can see the basic concepts of how the outside choice looks, which is the first one that we will look at today. So outside choice, number 1, it just means that we are targeting the outside wide receiver with the choice route. The choice route is as simple as this, y'all. Like if the cornerback is playing tight, he's going deep. Okay, the wide receiver is going deep. If the cornerback's playing off, then that wide receiver is going to break it down and run a comeback route, or like an in-breaking route or something like that. It's as simple as that. And again, there's some different variants to it. There's different types of choices that Tennessee's offense will run. For the most part, you're only going to target one guy, for that choice, but you can target 2, maybe even 3. I haven't seen that, but that maybe that's something that Tennessee does like to do. Now, as far as the other, or as far as the next wide receiver, they're going to be running basically like a complement route. So it's going to be next to whoever that choice route is. That complement wide receiver is just trying to create space for either one of those options that the outside guy or inside guy or whoever's tagged with the choice is going to run. The choice is the quarterback's first read, and then that complement is the quarterback's second read. The third read is either just a check down or a run. From 21 to 2022, Tennessee's offense had checkdowns, okay? But from 23 to 24, not so many checkdowns. So for the past couple of seasons, it's basically been a 1-2 run. That's how the offense is, basically set up. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. Y'all can kind of see how everything looks. And now we're going to see how it actually looks whenever you put it into practice. So first and foremost, okay, the routes that are gold, that's the first option. That's the choice. That's why there's 2 of them. So for this one, there could have been different, options and things like that. But based off of what I know, I'm pretty sure that it was, going to be a vertical, so like a fade or just a straight go, or it was going to be some type of an outbreak and route. And then that complement, that's the one that's in purple. The play that's highlighted in gold, that's where the ball is actually going to go. So on this situation, what we have on defense is a cover 2. So one of the things with that choice route for the outside guy is, hey, if the cornerback plays up, I can go deep. If he plays off, then I can break it back. But the reason that you can't do that with this look is because we've got a safety playing over the top. So you can either, go vertical, or, you could run that out route, or, corner route, smash route, whatever. Or maybe, they could have also had the option to run some type of a slant, because that probably would have been there, or at least close to being there. But again, that purple route, that complement route, it's just there to create the spacing. So we're gonna go ahead and let this thing roll so that y'all can see how things look whenever you actually put it into practice. I'll pause it right here just so that y'all can see, the types of windows that our quarterbacks have been throwing into. That's not the easiest window. You got to layer that football in there. I just want for people to see that so that we're not being overly critical of our players. This is the second one. So the option route is going to be on the bottom there, okay, on the outside. It's either a fade or it's a comeback. Again, maybe you could have some type of an in-breaking route too. So again, it's going to be based off of what is the cornerback doing. Is he going to be playing off? If he's playing off, then we're going to stop the route short. If he's playing up close, or if he's standing flat-footed, then we're going to run right past him. He's going to stand flat-footed, so we're going to throw it over his head. And as far as the complement route, that is a post that's there to hold that safety, right? Like we're keeping that space there for the outside stuff, right? So this is a bad way to try to play Tennessee's offense. If you do this, I mean, we're going to go to work all day long. This is how teams played us in 21 and 2022. So this is another outside choice. What we're going to see is the outside guy at the bottom is not getting the football, okay? But it's the same thing that we just looked at on the previous one, where, hey, you can either go deep or you can break it down, okay? You can run the underneath stuff. The cornerback is going to be playing deep, so he's going to throttle things down. The complement route, that's a dig, just making that space. But what you can also do with these choice routes is you can look, okay, so everything's supposed to be coming to this right side to the bottom. But if you see one-on-one up top, then that's where you're gonna go because the whole point of all this is just to get one-on-ones. So if you see it from the pre-snap, then that's where you go. So I think that this was a good read by the quarterback here, right? And you see that the cornerback's gonna be playing off. So we're just going to be coming back. It's as simple as that. It's just pitch and catch. And then whenever you have guys who can make something happen after the catch, that's what this offense has been missing. I think that we'll see a whole lot more of that in 2025. So next is going to be Tennessee's slot choice. So with the slot choice, a lot of similarities, but the first option, the first look is that slot. Okay, so y'all can pause it if you want to see how all the reads and things like that look, but it's pretty much, it's pretty much the same rules. It's just about running to the open grass. So on this first one, what we're going to see, and I know that everyone remembers this one, this is versus Alabama. This is that slot fade to Brazel. So on this, he could either run an inside breaking route, okay, or he could run something vertical, which is what he does because the cornerback stands flat-footed. So we got to throw the ball into a, nice little window there, and we have to come down with the catch, which Tennessee did. On the outside, that complement route, that's just, hey, we're either going to, go deep or we're going to be throttling things down. That's the second look. So quarterback's going to be looking at the slot guy first. That's his first read. That's there. As soon as you see that cornerback is flat-footed, you're throwing that. You know what I'm saying? Throwing that all day long, that should be pitch and catch. Now, what we're going to see right here is if you're looking at the guy that's highlighted in yellow or gold, that could be the first option here. I think that it probably is. Or it could be the guy that's next to him with that red route. The reason that I think that it's the guy that's in gold is because his route is quicker. And the guy that's in red, his route's going to take longer. So typically, all those digs and things like that, that's going to be the third read, if it even is a read. But obviously, looking down bottom, you can see that, we've got a vertical route. A lot of times with these slot options, you're going to see outside vertical stuff. All right, so we'll go ahead and let this thing roll. And also, this is covered too, coming from this defense with Vandy. But yeah, I mean, this is there all day long, right? So you can see how there's really good spacing with it. I actually love running trips, and really the slot option, I think, is maybe the best option with how Tennessee's offense has operated here recently, with how teams are playing us recently. I think that the spacing and the route combinations end up looking a lot better. But it's as simple as y'all read the first guy, read the second guy. If it's not there, go to your check down. If that's not there, then you're going to run. Now, this one is a little bit different. This is what I'm talking about with the processing that people say that our quarterbacks have not been doing. They have been doing it, really even on a higher level than they've been asked to do. So the option route here is either a slant, something that's breaking to the inside, or just something that kind of sits things down. So, of course, we've got the outside breaking route, we've got the deep route from the outside player. You can see that he's bracketed. This is cover two. All right, you've got that safety playing deep. And quarterback is going to go through his first reads. Things aren't there. So he actually goes back to his third option, okay, which, I like this play because this dig actually works here. This is why you put digs as that third option, because as you go through 1-2, and that happened very, very quickly. Now that dig is wide open, and, they're into their route and all of that. The dig shouldn't be our first look, but we can also see that Dylan Sampson is open as well. And I'm going to show y'all him real quick. So boom, right? So you can see that Dylan Sampson is also open, but why not throw it down the field? Like whenever you get this sort of a look, of course, you want to try to throw it down the field. So this is what we do. And that is doing more than what we're asked to do, right? Like we're not really asked to go through 3 real reads. And so on this one, okay, y'all can see that the slot, of course, is the option guy, inside or outside. In some situations could also be vertical, but on this one was not a vertical option. And we've got the outside guy is going to be going deep. So you can see this is a funky looking defense. They play something crazy to the bottom, and we're going to see that pretty quickly. So same thing that we talked about on that previous one. We're going to go, one read's, first read's not there, second read's not there. But man, look, backside, we got things wide open because obviously you can see that safety's playing over the top. And I'm going to highlight this safety for you so that y'all can see that as well. So look, safety's playing wide. That's something else with those wide splits. It widens those safeties. Post should be there a lot of times. And in this situation, it was most definitely there. So we're going to throw this backside, right? This is the third read. Really that's, almost like fourth read, but that was a good job just of going through things quickly and being able to throw it. So that's how that portion of it looks. Now, this is one of my favorites. This is the switch choice. And y'all can see how this works. You're going to see switch routes, which just means that one wide receiver is going to cross pass with one of the other wide outs. And really, they can both have options off of that. but typically you only see one player tagged with the choice. So again, it's just going to be based off of, hey, where's the open grass at? And you know, you're going to be figuring that out like post snap as the plays actually happen as you're running that route. You're going to figure out most of it. You might have a good idea pre snap, but for the most part, and let me go back to that so that we can get back to that play art. But for the most part, you know, you're just going to kind of see things as they're happening. So right here, the first option is that gold, right? So this guy, he can either run that in breaking route, so like a dig or a post. And typically with these switch routes, you're going to see someone's going to be going vertical. So you're going to see some type of a wheel, some type of a go, and that's the second option. So that's where Tennessee is actually going to go here. And I think that this is one where we see it pre-snap. You've got a one high safety look. You know that you can get your daggone roll on outside. That's there, right? So all the in-breaking stuff isn't there because the safety is sitting there, you know, and actually I'm gonna go back just a little bit further to show you what I'm talking about. But so here, right, like you can see that the safety is breaking to the middle. So all the middle stuff is gone. Like that's how simple these reads are. That safety goes over. You've got to throw it to that slot fade, and it's wide open. So that's how simple things can be. On this one, what we're going to see is the slot. That's where the option is. Okay, so we're going to have that slot fade or a slot comeback, and this cornerback is going to be playing off. So then that cornerback can actually break things down. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like a wheel stop, but not quite. This is actually going to end up going up top. So this is a read that was missed. And of course, that purple route running that dig, you can see both of these guys are wide open. There's time. This is one that we missed. This is the first UT Chattanooga, first game of the season. This is how much growth we have. We actually, I think, start off with our final game, and now we're coming to our first one. But y'all can see the difference with the operation. Yes, it takes time. You got to get on the same page with your wide receivers. You got to get comfortable. I'm not quite sure what the quarterback saw here. They probably, you know, maybe thought that slot fade was going to go deep, but that's why you can't, like, you can get it. You can get a little of an idea of how things will look pre-snap, but you got to see how things actually play out, you know, before you get into situations like this. So here, 1-2. Now I'm running, right? Now I'm running, but still looking downfield. Wide receivers doing a really good job in that scramble drill. You can throw the ball, you know, in a pretty tight spot on the run on the sideline and get that first down. So now, okay, this is another situation, just like what we saw on that previous one, right? And this one is actually going to go to the second option, which is on this dig. So first one, that one's not there, right? You can see that this cornerback, he's playing off. So that doesn't look like that's quite there at this moment. But what you'll also notice, and I'm going to highlight it this way for you, is that in this area, there is an area, right? Like there's some space. So with that space, of course, you would much rather throw it there because you can also see this. Let me highlight this guy that's playing underneath. You can also see this, right? That there is a guy that's playing, you know, basically underneath that comeback. So you've got a corner playing over the top, and then you've got a guy playing underneath on what the first read was. So you see that pretty quickly, right? Or we saw that pretty quickly, and then we understand that, hey, we've got to go to the guy that's running this dig. And this is that is a hell of a window. Actually, you're going to see it again from this end zone angle, just so that, you know, people can understand just how tight some of these windows actually are that you have to fit the football into, you know, if everything else is just kind of covered up. So boom, you can see it here, right? That's an NFL window. So that's why whenever I say, hey, you know, the quarterbacks, it's good to stand in the pocket some. Yeah, it's good about the processing. You know, you need to be able to process relatively quickly, but the processing, as we can see, it's pretty simple. So it doesn't take a whole lot. But if you get into a situation where things are covered up, just like this one, you got to be, you know, last second. I've got to fit this into a really tight window. That's why you need that arm strength. See what I'm saying? That's why. This is what I've been talking about. All right, now we're going to take a look at a couple more plays that just break down, right? This one right here looks like it could have been a slot choice, maybe an underneath choice because everything is underneath. But NC State's doing a great job of understanding the route combinations that Tennessee's going to run, and they're sitting on everything. So in situations like this, again, like we just talked about, you've got to have a quarterback that can get outside of the pocket. You can't just stand in there because everything's it's falling in on you, but you've got to be able to get outside, find a guy that's open in that scramble drill, flick your wrist 50, 60 yards down the field, and it's right on the money. So this is, you know, you'll hear people saying, oh, it's a great thing that they're standing inside of the pocket and da-da-da. Yeah, that's true for the first couple of reads, but after that, you got to get going. Like, this is not pro style like I talked about. So this is another, you know, very similar situation. We've got a crazy-looking defense on this bottom side by Florida, and, you know, we've got the option there. We've got the complement there, but everything's covered up. So, you know, instead of going 1-2 run, this is a situation where we had the time. So 1-2, let me go to the third guy, and then we can still get some yards. So this is, that's just another part of it. Yeah, man, the offensive line has got to hold up in some of these situations because people will be sitting on some of our route combinations. But either way, these right here, there's going to be some plays that probably don't have a real option to them. It's probably just, drawn up, dialed up because you see those sprint outs and things like that. But just to kind of show y'all that, hey, it's not all about the option routes. We can still dial things up. And I think that Tennessee might need to do a little bit more of that coming up in 2025. But either way, y'all, that's going to be it for this one. I hope that y'all liked it. Hopefully, y'all did learn something. And whether you liked it or whether you didn't, just let me know about it down in that comment section. And as always, please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see y'all on the next one. Thanks. Peace.